Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. And a beautiful, beautiful morning it is. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the hottest spot in town. You've stepped into Sunshine's Corner, where we talk about all the things that's necessary. I want to welcome you in, as always, and as I do every single day, make sure you tell somebody to tell somebody. When you want to hear what's really important to you, tune into Sunshine's Corner. We're going to touch it all. And you see, today there is no difference in what I do. You know that you are welcomed in to be a part of the conversation at 850-432-7768. You can call or text and be a part. And let me remind you, as we are rapidly counting down, you know, we're in election season. Please, we are in early voting. Please, I ask of you, do not neglect your opportunity to be a part of the process of making decisions that are so prevalent to us right about now. I encourage you to vote, to take somebody out to vote. I'm not trying to tell you who to vote. I'm going to tell you to vote. Please exercise your right. Do not neglect that. Do that today. Go on while the crowds are not big. You don't have to worry about going to any precinct there is. You can go anywhere because it's early voting and cast your vote. So you're going to get caught in that line that's coming up on Tuesday. It's going to be a day. Remember that. Sunshine's going to talk with you today with a gentleman that's doing some things in this community with our veterans. And this is something top of mind that we all talk about. Now, I met Neil about 3-4 years ago, about that long. But welcome in Neil Anderson, who's in with us today, who's going to talk with us about all the great things with the veterans and what's coming up, why we're talking, what everybody needs to know. Welcome into the hottest spot in town.
It is. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome.
I'm so glad you're on Blab TV. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
We need to have that beautiful presence, you know, to be able to see, not just hear anymore, right?
You got it. But thank you. You put a smile on my face there.
There you go.
But you know, but this is, as we were talking off camera, this way I feel I can reach out and I can even do more to be that accessible person, to be that information link that will keep the community on what they need to know.
Right.
And with you being the executive director, so I know that you've got a lot of things that you could talk about with the veterans, right?
Well, we're doing quite a broad and deep, series of activities. Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So this is what we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. So look, I know because there's an event coming that we're going to be talking about that we want you to be a part of. But what I want Neil to do, first of all, is tell everybody about Neil. What is it like we were talking? Neil's from Montgomery. He lived in Montgomery for a while, my hometown. And you've traveled, and now you're here settled in Pensacola.
Yeah, you know, off camera, like you talked about earlier, you were talking about how difficult it is to move and transition, right? And transition is a big part of what we're trying to solve for veterans too. So maybe we'll have a chance to talk about that.
We will.
But I'm originally from Denmark, and I went to 26 schools in 3 different countries from kindergarten through high school.
Wow.
So when you were talking about transitioning from one market to the next and not wanting to move again, I certainly understand. But it also means that we have to figure out how to make friends real quick.
You got that right. I mean, yes, we do.
We got friends everywhere. Right?
I have all over the place.
Exactly.
You know, some I don't even remember their name, but I got friends everywhere.
That's right.
But you know, but that's the fact though, with the things that we have to do when you're doing that. And with you saying that you're moving around and moving things here and there, with the veterans, I mean, we know that there's a need, and there's right here in Escambia County that we reach out, that we try our best to be a part of to help. Because there's a motorcycle group that I'm working with.
Okay.
I got to tell you more about that. I'll let you know what they want to do.
Yeah.
But they reached out to me so we can discuss that, because it's all about making a difference to help out with the veterans any way we can.
Yeah.
So you tell us what's on your agenda. Tell us what it is that we're talking about today to keep the people all up so they can get excited about it and be a part of it.
Well, I'm excited about the motorcycle stuff because I happen to ride myself.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. So, but I'll ride whatever. You know, I have Harleys and BMWs and different things. So
a BMW motorcycle?
Yeah. So
it
just depends on your mood, you know, and what event you're going to. You got to ride, right? So
really?
Yeah. But our agenda is really Vet CV. If you want me to tell you about
Please,
Vet CV
tell me all about it. Yes.
The genesis of Vet CV.
Yes.
Our main business for the last 24 years in business here in Pensacola has been in building software for hospitals and health systems and physicians.
Right.
And several years ago, Sheila Bowman, if you know her. She ran the district office for Congressman Miller, Jeff Miller at the time. She came over because Congressman Miller just became the chairman of the VA committee on the Hill. And she came over and said, hey, well, the boss wants to do some honor flights.
Right.
And I had never heard of honor flights back in 13. And but they talked me into it, and we raised some money, and we did a couple of honor flights with them. And that's when I really started to understand what the trials and tribulations were for our nation's veterans, military, and family on two specific topics. First, one was the lack of access to care.
Right.
Right, and the long wait times. And then also at that time, there were 1 million appointments that were backlogged for getting what's called a CNP exam, comp and pension. So if someone's medical retirement or disability, to get that exam, they were behind 1 million appointments at the time. And so to catch up was, fairly complicated and difficult for VA. VA actually uses our software. Because of those things, they decided that they really needed to be able to compete with the commercial sector on how to recruit and retain doctors.
Really?
And so the VA reached out to us because we've been doing that work for hospitals and health systems all over the United States for a few years at that time, and asked if we'd be interested in talking to them about using our software. And they've been a client for 10 years now.
Really?
Yeah, and they've really ramped up all their initiatives, and they have a great team. They have 250 or more professional physician recruiters now, trying to get doctors to join VA to take care of people.
Right.
And it's
improving.
It's improving, and I know that there are a lot of hardworking people that I work with in VA trying to help.
So you said something earlier about the fact that there was a backlog, and there was a gentleman that was on with me. He's a vet, and he was talking about that because he had something that I had never heard of. He had a double spinal stroke.
A double spinal stroke.
Yes.
Okay.
I had never in my life heard of that.
I was a Navy corpsman. I haven't heard that either, but it must be.
It was absolutely amazing because when I had it, I said, "You had what?" And but he was said that he couldn't walk again, but he's walking. Now he is. He's had to go through a lot, but he is a vet, and he was talking about the fact. He said, "But Sonshine, with the process that he had to go through with him being a vet." And I'm seeing now what you're saying, that's an improvement where he wouldn't have to wait or anybody else.
Right.
That were going through that. I see a lot of like this with things that I see where vets need. There are a lot of things I see out there that they need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
everything, lots of things.
Lots of things, and there are. That's what the guys with the motorcycle group that I'm talking with. That we're talking about doing some things for the holidays to help out with the vets. How is it with the ones that I see? Now I'm going to go transparent here.
Yeah.
I see on the street. They are, how can I say it? That really, you can tell they need the help. How and what are we doing to try to limit or to shorten that homelessness that I see with so many veterans? And another thing with that, why is it there's so many like that? Do you ever touch that?
Well, we do. So that's partly in big part why we also created a foundation, the nonprofit. So VetCV is a for-profit arm. It's free, as it's a software app basically for veterans and their families to be able to. And so CV stands for Curriculum Vitae, but Curriculum Vitae means in Latin life record.
Okay.
So that goes back to why we started this in the first place. VetCV is a digital platform, obviously secure, and if you do banking online, you should be fine with doing what we do. We're a government contractor, so we have higher requirements than most to make sure that the cyber and security and the data protection and trust and respect are all taken care of. But VetCV and that life record really ties back to what we were learning at that time about veterans seemingly not being able to have control of their own stuff.
I understand.
Their military records and their health records. And so that was the beginning of this. But this also ties to someone being able to manage and keep track of the important things in your life. And guess what?
What?
Even homeless people have important things
But
that
of
they
course.
cherish,
Oh,
that
but
they
of
want to
course.
be able to reflect on or be able to share.
Right.
Stories, pictures, their service records or whatever it may be, or their service history, right? I served in XYZ and I was in this, on this deployment, and I did this with these buddies, and
Right.
and we faced these challenges and we overcame these obstacles, you
Right.
know. So that was the kind of the beginning. With homeless veterans, there's a lot of need, and that's also why we, again, back to the foundation, which is the nonprofit,
Right.
where we focus on one of the aspects is homelessness. With the technology platform of being able to use artificial intelligence for good, in Latin we call it bonum non malus, right? Good, not evil.
Right.
And helping people get access to tools, tips, resources, ideas, and ultimately connections to people who do what? Care.
Absolutely.
It's the best four-letter word there is
Absolutely.
in American in vocabulary,
I agree.
right? And so when it comes to homelessness, we see the ones that the ones we see with the signs. I'm a veteran and I need food,
Yeah.
or those kinds of things.
All right. Sometimes those fake.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Unfortunately, and that if it's genuine and real, we all want to give.
Exactly.
If it's not, that takes away from those that are
Those that really need it.
exactly. So one thing that we don't see are those who are at risk of being homeless.
Okay, at risk. Okay, I'm with
What
you.
we don't see are the young people who are transitioning or transitioned out of the military who didn't plan well for their career, or something else is going on, and now they're couch surfing.
Really?
That's homelessness, right? But they're going from one friend to the next, or battle buddy, or whatever,
Right.
until they get their
Couch
something together, right? And or they move home, right?
Really?
And or they are truly homeless and they really need all the things of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Safety,
Right.
food, shelter, bottom of this. Let's get that going. And
Right.
so that's part of what we want to do with the foundation, is to try to identify people who need help and also want help.
That's got to be the key. You got to want it.
There are a lot of people who their whole thing is they don't want anything but what they have. They want to be homeless. They want to have freedom and those kinds of
Really?
things. That happens. So we have to identify those, because those are people that we want to help, but they don't want any help, right? So we have to think about that too.
Okay.
So it's like,
How do
what
you
do we
differentiate
do?
between the two?
It's difficult. It's you have to, ultimately it has to be what you believe and trust about that individual, right? But then you have to figure out, well, where are you going to put your money,
Right.
right? You're going to put your money towards somebody who's just going to be taking and never taking advice or wanting to move forward or step forward.
Want a
right?
handout.
Or what's next, which
I
is
hear
the theme of our dinner, right?
All right.
Thanks, by the way, and
Of
we'll
course,
get
I
into
can't
that
wait.
to be the MC for. But so homelessness is a big thing, and doing research on homelessness and what people need, and trying to figure out where, if I donate $1, is it going to be used to help that person, and will that person accept and take advantage of it to further themselves, to get that
I
job,
understand.
or to get their ID, or whatever it may be, to get started,
Okay.
to accept help.
Even just to get the ID, so there's a lot of process that we got to go through. I want to talk about. Listen, everybody, we're talking with Neil, we've got so much here to talk about today with the veterans, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to fill you in with more. Let me remind you again, now don't forget, now early voting. Get your vote done. Take care of that today, and come right back right here to Sunshine's Corner.
My father was from Mexico. He had me in this country. My mother, her side of the family was a combination of German, Russian, Polish, typical American story. Because of their, wanting to come to this country for a better life, one of the biggest parts of that was having a vote. I live in this country. One of my most important rights is the right to cast a vote. You're an American citizen. You have the right to vote. Take advantage of that right. Affect change around you that you want to see. My name's Eduardo Lara, and I am strongly encouraging you to just vote.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sonshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sonshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
When I saw the tumor on the MRI, my first thought was, am I going to be able to see my daughter again? The doctors knew if I did not end my pregnancy, I would lose my baby, I would lose my life, and my daughter would lose her mom. Florida has now banned abortion, even in cases like mine. Amendment 4 is going to protect women like me. We have to vote yes.
I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. Watch our show to find out what we're doing for our seniors and their families, and hear from area experts and local business owners about their programs and services. Want to help? Find out how you can work with us to bring a better future to our seniors. Watch Coming of Age, 3:30 p.m. Wednesdays, only on Blab TV.
I don't want to mess up your name.
That's okay.
And welcome back to the hottest spot in town. I was talking about Neil's name, okay? So I got to do that real quick. But we were talking about homelessness with veterans, and I tell you, with the foundation, what the foundation is doing, there's a fundraiser coming up that we're going to be doing, but we're going to get to that. But let's go back to the fact that you wanted to go back to talking about the homeless and the things that you have to do in the process of how we get them taken care of. Because there are sometimes, like I was telling you the time when I saw a person, and this is no joke, I tried to walk away. I got in my car and went all the way home. Mm-hmm. But it was something on the inside of me kept saying, go back. And I went back in the store and purchased him food. Yeah. And gave it to him, because it was just, I couldn't walk away from it.
Well, it's humanity, right? It's you, that's doing things for the community and an individual, because you felt compassion to do it. Right. And I've lived in lots of different countries, and there is no bigger country or people with a bigger heart than Americans.
That's right.
We donate, we give, we support, we hope that people will do better. I understand
exactly what you're saying. I understand. We got a phone call. Somebody want to ask you something.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what they want to find out today. Really, good morning.
Good morning, Sonshine. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
I want to ask Mr. Neal a question, because I think you asked him a question, and I'm not for sure if we got an answer about the homeless people. I just wanted to check and see if there are homeless people that are out on the streets and they don't know about the program, and how are they being able to find out about the program if they don't have access to maybe a computer or to a phone? Is there somebody that's going out to where they're at and saying, hey, we have this service, we can help you if you need the help? And then the people that are homeless, like he was just saying, like the young people that didn't manage their finances to the point where they're back home with their parents or they sleeping couch to couch, how are they able to find out about the services that are available for them?
Okay,
well, and Neil's going to talk about that right about now.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. That's a fantastic question. Thank you for that. So we have what we call a digital vault or a digital file cabinet for all your stuff to store, including your ID if you get it and those kinds of things. And then we also use machine learning to introduce them to things they didn't know they needed. And those are things that either we have that are intellectual property that we've invented and those kinds of things, but more so it's wrapped around our Patriot Teaming Partners. So we have tons of resources, including, as an example, the Maxwell Respite Center, which is one of the recipients of the fundraising event that we're going to have in November. And so we rely on helping them do more of what they do as it relates to them delivering the message.
Okay.
And then they now have in their arsenal now a digital platform that they can also provide to that person. So one of the points that you asked about was if they don't have access to a computer and access to a phone, then they can't get access to the free platform if they don't have access to that. But what we've found is that most people have access to a phone, to a cell phone, a smartphone.
Really?
So
the people on the street?
On the street, many of them have phones. And or they can borrow somebody's phone. Or they can use any other device that they want if they get access to it in the library or somewhere else. But here's the thing. This is now a digital wallet for the things that are important to you, your story, your history, if you're in the military. But by the way, we open this up to the community as well.
Okay.
So it's really designed around making sure that active military transition well, get a great job with a great company. That's how we're able to pay for all this, because we want corporate America to hire veterans, right? And their families. But if you're a patriot, and you love this country, guess what? You can have a free account. Just sign up.
Really?
Because when I think about our United States military, our single purpose, and this is my opinion, so just me, okay, is we are trained and we're here to keep our community and our country safe and support our country.
Right.
That's our first mission. Our second mission is to help people around the world that can't help themselves. And we're the good guys.
Okay.
Our military isn't designed to go and conquer countries. Our military is designed to keep people safe. And that mission set is really part of every single veteran that I've ever met.
Okay.
We want to help people. So if it turns out that there's a civilian that needs our platform and the resources that we make available through our partners and ourselves, because we aggregate, curate partners all over the country that provide services and products to veterans for free or sometimes for cost. But if it's for free, we want to get it out there.
Okay.
Like the Maxwell Center,
right?
Respite Center, and other partners. So here locally, we have about 273 organizations that most of which are nonprofit organizations that are doing things right now to help with somebody's rent, utilities, finding a home, HUD-VASH vouchers, food, resume building, finding a job, all kinds of partners. It's all in one place where you can find it inside the VetCV Vault, and what we call the Resource Library and Teaming Partners.
Okay, then therefore, did that answer your question, sir?
Well, I just want to make sure that if a person forgets about this resource, if somebody going out to them, to that location, to say, hey, here's a QR code, you can scan this on your phone, and it'll take you to the website where you need to go.
Yep, and that's...
So this is a phone number to you. So once you're ready, you can reach out to this organization, and they can help you.
Yeah, and we, I don't know if you've ever had the experience of trying to find a company's phone number when you go online or their address.
You got that right.
Oh my God, that's
it's just like difficult.
It drives me crazy. Like what, you don't want to talk to your customer?
That's
or
right.
Your people you serve?
I agree with that. 100%.
So we're not afraid of that. Our phone number is right front and center everywhere. So if you want to call us, we will get you set up. It doesn't take but 30 seconds to create your account, but we're always here. We want to talk to human beings
certainly.
that need
And there's
help.
an event also that Anita Welcome puts on that she's retired, but every year, I think it was in September, that they had it right over, and it was all for the veterans. They came by, they had them helping get those IDs,
Yep.
helping to get paperwork filled out for medical if they needed it to
Yep.
get them registered. And they do this every year. And I'm asking these questions because of
That's
the
through
fact.
the coalition, right?
Yes.
The alliance.
Yes,
Yeah. And
exactly.
Robbie Greg.
Yes,
Yep.
Robbie, he's there, and
Yep.
all of them. It's a
Yep.
great event that they
Robbie's
do.
on our board. Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie, and you know, Robbie keeps me up on it. He keeps me, I
Yeah.
mean, Robbie, keep going with that info, okay? But he's a good friend, and what he does, I think, is really phenomenal, the work that he puts into it. Even with the fact that he's at this veterans program at the college.
Yeah.
You
Well, what he does with Upward Bound and Trio is, if you're not taking advantage of that, you're missing out.
Don't you know it?
When I got out, there was nothing. You know, they checked my eyes, my ears, and my teeth, and said, "Thanks,
That's
see
it,
you later."
goodbye, see
Right?
you later.
Good luck, whatever you're gonna do. You know,
Exactly.
right if you get work. You know, but now Rob can help you figure out if you can get into college or
Exactly.
get a technical degree.
Yes.
I've got a friend who has a plumbing business, got a technical degree. He's pulling over $300,000 a year in income.
Oh, really?
Right? I mean, you don't have to get a college degree
That's right.
to have a happy life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Because he's been doing that. He is so, and he does so much to help. And with that part there, we need to tell people about that even
Yeah.
more so that they can get with Robbie
That's right.
right there at PSE.
well, so that's another example. We have under what we call Resource Library and the Patriot Partners, we have education, parenting, veteranpreneurship. If you're thinking, hey, I want to think about starting my own business, here's some tools and resources by experts and organizations who can help and will be willing to talk to you about it, and sometimes talk you out of it. It's like, no, that's probably the dumbest thing ever. You may
But
not
you're
want to
being
do
right,
that.
but
Don't
it's the
risk your
truth.
house, you know, and your
To
family.
do that,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I understand.
So there's all kinds of resources.
Exactly. And see, these are the points that we're trying to pull out, that there are things that we've got to do collectively together to
That's
make
it.
sure that we can do the things for the veterans that are in need, for those who want it. You
Yep.
made that statement because sometimes people just don't want it.
Right.
And you can offer it to them. You can say, here it is on a platter. But if you don't accept it, we can't hold a knife to your head and say, "Hey, take this."
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of, as I mentioned, I'm a former Navy. I was enlisted. I was a Navy corpsman. A lot of my mentors were Navy physicians, so I almost went to med school. At one point, I thought I wanted to do that, but I decided I wasn't smart enough or something, and I
Oh,
just
come
became
on.
a business guy. But the being able to find a mentor, and even knowing what a mentor is sometimes difficult. But if it wasn't for those people, I didn't call them mentors at the time, but they all took me under their wing,
Exactly.
you know, and they encouraged me and they
Right.
said, "Niels, you can do it." And I think that's important because ultimately it's that four-letter word, caring,
Care.
right? And majority of people care if you care enough to want to do something for yourself, right?
Exactly.
So fall forward. But what you were talking about too is, in as a medic or corpsman, we also learned about basic triage,
Okay.
right? So if you have a mass casualty situation, you have to do triage.
Right.
And their theme there is that you have to do the greatest good for the greatest number.
Okay.
So if I have 5 or 10 people that are injured, and one of them is so badly injured that if I spent all my time on that one person, they might survive, but the odds are low. But that means that there might be 2 or 3 that might, or 4 that may
Okay.
not be able to get my care, and they may suffer more.
Okay.
So I have to give him that red tag or expectant tag to say, I'll come back to you if I can.
Right.
I got to go take care of all these because I can help more people in this time.
I understand.
And then if I do well, and they all do okay, and they're stabilized, mobilized, transported, then I come back to you. And if you're still good to go, then I'll work on you. But otherwise, it's the greatest good for the greatest number.
Absolutely.
I actually had that experience.
Did you really?
And they were all people from my command that
wow.
fell in a cliff diving accident.
Oh, my
Or
heart
a
would have
cliff
just-
climbing accident.
Okay.
And I had to give a guy that I knew from my command the red tag or expectant tag. And I went and helped everybody else, and I got back, and he's still breathing. And
Thank God.
yeah, well, so we transported him, sent him back, got him up in the helicopter, got him back to the hospital. He was in the OR for 12 hours. He was a quadriplegic after that, survived. Then we flew him back to the United States. And then about 3 or 4 years later, I was a civilian going through college, and I did mobile CT. And I went back to one of my old duty stations, which was Camp Pendleton Naval Hospital, with our mobile CT scanner, and I was a civilian now, right? So I'm walking around my old command as a civilian. It was kind of interesting. But I walk around the corner and I bump into some guy. It's
And
that
that's
guy.
him.
He was up and walking back on full
Look at
duty.
that. Isn't that beautiful? I
So
tell
it
you.
works.
You know, being with a veteran and the things that we see that's needed, I think it takes a lot of strength when you can see where one has fallen or maybe suffering in a way that you didn't think that they would suffer, and with what they've already given to the country, what they've already given. And I think with the work that you're doing, that's got to be one of those heartstring things that you want this to be so successful so that you can help those that are already given so much. And for those that are in need of so many things, because sometimes life hurts.
It does.
Sometimes life hurts. And with the fact that there's sometimes things that may happen that you can't prevent, or life hurts, if you understand what I'm saying when I say that. But the fact that you are able to do, like with the fundraising, with the other entities you named off that are there to help with the ones that are going through the difficulties, are there times you run into people that don't even want to really share some of the difficulties maybe that they're going through with, that don't want you to know where they are? When I say where they are, the difficulty that they're experiencing?
Well, yeah, well, first of all, if you can't tell, I'm a man, so I'm a guy, so I've been accused of not sharing my feelings as often as I probably should, or holding things back, which is sometimes true, but it's certainly, some things that we joke around about, right? But yeah, if you're a veteran, especially combat veteran, there are certain things that you just don't talk about. You don't want to talk to anybody about it. You can't talk to a civilian about it because, number one, you may not want to scare them.
Okay, I got you.
Number two, they probably wouldn't understand being, in such a bad situation or scenario, and having people, not make it out with you,
Absolutely.
that you're friends. So you only talk to people about that you trust.
Okay.
Right, and you think may also understand and have been there. So that's part of what we're solving for as well with our AI buddy.
Right.
So suicide is a big thing.
That's where we're going.
And so 22 a day, or if it's 17 or 30, whatever the number is, right?
A day?
A day. So let's take the number that people generally talk about, and that's 22 a day. There are about 115 to 120 people out of the 335 million people in America that die by suicide every day. All people. Teenagers.
Oh, they're at the top now.
Right? And veterans and women. If 22 of them out of the 115, that's like 16%, right? Of everyone who died by suicide every day are veterans, yet we represent 1.5% of the population. So you see there's a disproportionate right, access to deadly weapons, all kinds of things. But that's a big, 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 big pole in our tent that we're trying to help with. So with kind of tying with what the gentleman that was asking about, we first of all, the data that you have in your vault is private.
Right.
But going back to the old discussion we had about why our military is the way it is, we're here to help each other, right? We're here to protect our civilians, and when you're in the military, we have the concept of we've got your six, right? No man left behind, all that kind of stuff, right? Not that I ever read about that or was actually trained in the military to say got your six.
Right.
No one literally said that, but that's just the way it is.
Right.
And so we have a very strong belief in doing that. With regard to helping each other, if I want to have my de-identified information, meaning it doesn't, we don't know it's me, but we might say, well, it's a male in southeastern United States that had this experience or whatever, or was able to do this and this was successful, then we will allow the person to opt in to allow that de-identified information to be used in the machine learning.
Right.
And that's where going into the suicide stuff comes into place, and the AI. We have an artificial intelligence bot you can have a conversation with. If you're not ready to talk to a person,
You got to be, I understand where
you
you're
can
going.
talk to the machine, and it will inspire you, it will give you some ideas, some suggestions, and you just have a conversation with this AI bot in the technology, all by yourself at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning if you
And
want to,
nobody has
with
to
your
know what
thumb.
to-
And maybe you'll get some advice to say, you might want to call your mom.
Exactly. We're going to come back and finish that conversation, Niels. But listen, we are talking with Niels Anderson today about the veterans and the Veteran Association, what's coming up. And of course, with next month, November, we know what's happening in November. We got a lot planned for that as well. You stay close and tell somebody right here, get up and go vote. I'm going to continue to tell you that. Let me remind you also now, tomorrow is the last day of the month. Can you believe that? However, that's Halloween. And we've got a safe Halloween coming up for the kids. They will not be anywhere, so they will get hurt. You make sure you bring the kids. I'll be out, and I might come dressed out for you. But we've got an event for the kids there at the Fricker Center, kicking off tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We've got the haunted hallways and so many people. Let me say thank you for joining us to open up your trunk so that the kids can be safe. Stay there. Be there with me tomorrow. We'll tell you more about it right here on Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Keep going, more. No, stop!
I remember the doctor handing me a baby boy that was blue, and I just held him because he was so cold. Due to the abortion ban, I was being forced to carry the baby from 23 weeks all the way to 37 weeks. And knowing that my son was going to die.
Having to watch your wife be in pain and continue to tell her to keep going, that everything's gonna be okay, knowing it's not. That was the hardest thing.
Government had no right to do that to my family. This ban is torture.
You're not going to vote. Seriously? Do you want your rights taken away? Seriously? You say that you're not going to vote, but you do? Well, think about it. If you don't, you've already lost them. Let me tell you something. If you do not vote, then you're giving up your rights. Think about it. I just need you to just vote. And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner. We are talking with Niels Anderson. Did I get it right?
You did. You got it right.
And we're talking about all of the events, and I can't wait to get to talk about the fundraiser because I will be the MC for the fundraiser this year, and I'm so excited about that. Thank you for the invitation, Robbie, and thank you for talking with me because I've got emails and everything from you also, Niels. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that event. Now let's talk about this because I know Robbie had heard some things about Veterans Week. Mm-hmm. All the activities going on. Tell us a little bit about that so we can get the community ready. November is here, day after tomorrow.
I know. Time flies.
It flies.
Much faster the older I get. It's horrible. There's a famous quote, youth is wasted on the young, You wouldn't know that being 29 yet, but...
oh, wow. Make me smile.
But, so Veterans Week is actually something that Representative Michelle Saltzman did. It was a bill. It's a statewide bill.
Yes.
And I don't know who else is doing it around Florida, but it was kicked off here, and we've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now. And so if there's any organization in the community that's having any event that supports military veterans and or their families, then just let me know. Call me or call my office, and we will add it to the calendar. So it's veteransweekus.com.
Right.
And we will add it. So you can see there's a calendar for every day of the week of activities that's going on, like the Her Foundation fundraiser, the Marine Corps League Ball, the Veterans Memorial Park Veterans Day ceremony.
Yes.
And then, of course, our dinner is beyond the Veterans Week.
Yep.
But we're pushing it to 16th. We just couldn't find a venue within the week.
That's right.
And Blue Angels, and this year bigger than ever, right?
Oh
with
my
the with the Thunderbirds.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a ton of things.
I can't believe
Pensacola
that's already
State,
here.
UWF is having ceremonies. And again, Robbie Gregg and those guys at UWF and Lori Milkus at UWF. So it's there's a ton of activities. You know, the VA's doing things.
Yes. So everybody, now remember that website. Now, if you want to find out what's going on daily, all you have to do is go to veteransweekus.com and click and find out what's happening and be a part.
Yep, exactly. And or if you have an event, let us know. We'll add it.
There you go.
Right? No
That's
cost.
Great. No cost.
No cost.
So come on. Everybody needs to be a part of that, because I'm sure, because you know, you see so many little things that you didn't know about.
Right.
And this way we can, I strongly believe, we put everything together, we have a big party.
Yep.
I mean, a great, big, huge turnout for what we're trying to bring attention to.
Right.
And also now, let's talk about the fundraiser.
Okay,
And
let's
how.
do. Let's do.
And how people can be a part of this fundraising by that dollar.
there you go. Yeah, so I mean, in order to do good, sometimes we have to spend money, right?
Of course.
No matter what.
Exactly.
And so what we're focused on is raising money for homelessness, and specifically to support Vinnie Wibb and the Maxwell Respite Center. If you've never had an opportunity to really understand what they do there, you talk about your heart and your soul for this person that was outside the Dollar General that you drove all the way home for and bought him food, came back. There are homeless moms with children, babies, teenagers, preteens, that are now going to school, getting care, have safety, have food, right? This I've never seen anything like it. It is fantastic. So we decided as our board, Robbie's on the board, Pete McKenna, we have Navy captain, Air Force colonels, little enlisted guys like me.
Listen to this guy.
You know, we have call signs for some. Sarge is our president, and I'm just the chairman, right?
Oh, he's just the chairman, okay.
But you know, it's led by his fearless leadership and daring alacrity, right? And we're making this happen. So this fundraiser, portion of the money is going towards the Maxwell Respite Center. They also have a special wing for homeless veterans, right?
Okay.
They come in from out off the streets, and they have safety. They have, you know, clothing, showers,
the necessities
food,
of life.
And they're also going to be challenged.
Wow.
And that challenge gives you a sense again, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. This is Niels Anderson, Navy veteran guy talking. But I believe if you're being challenged a little bit or being asked to do something and being held accountable, that is, even in the smallest steps, is the beginning of going forward. Because you're being accountable for yourself, and then also keeping the place even squared away is accountable for somebody else.
Right.
And those are the first steps to making progress, to getting a job, getting transportation, getting your own apartment or home or whatever. And honestly, the kids that's the thing. I can't stand the thought of having kids being homeless and having to grow up and not have their childhood.
Absolutely. When you said that, I was going to go allude right back to that, because of the fact I have seen families on the street. I'm talking about families, the babies, the mama, the daddy, kids in strollers,
Yep.
kids here. So that's not just something, that's real.
It is real, and the Maxwell Respite Center is doing things for them. You walk in there and you see babies. You see dads, moms and dads that, are faced with homelessness. And now they have a place, a safe place, to get them back on track.
That breaks my heart.
And Troy, who runs the place,
right?
He was a former Marine, and he doesn't run it like a Marine. He happens to be a social worker too. I don't know how many degrees he's got now. He's got a bunch of them.
Right.
But the compassion and strength,
right,
oozes out of everyone who works there.
And I gotta say this because, and I will say for myself, I'm guilty, because I will say, oh, somebody just using that just to get money. But when you say that, it is so, we do not know where anybody is. You don't know where I am in life. You do not know what caused this or that to happen to me, or you don't know my story.
Yep.
You may look at me and say this, but you do not know the story. And I'm really emphasizing on this strongly because of the fact of things that I have said myself when I see that. But you see, sometimes you got to take the eye out of the equation and see what's right there in front of you. You never know what it is. And when it comes to the kids, because the kids, I always say, they didn't have to come here. So we got to do our best to take care of them. But when I see the kids, and now that I know that there are places that can do and offer the help that they need to get this family back on their feet,
Yep.
to help them to whatever it may have been that caused them to fall. Because it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, they might have done everything they possibly could, but they were just overwhelmed by the circumstance they had no control over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The mom didn't want to be a homeless mother.
No, she didn't.
No, and she loves that child, and she's figured out, either by luck or just pure intense, willpower, that she was able to find out about Maxwell Respite Center.
Absolutely.
Or organizations like it, right?
Absolutely.
Or pay your rent.
Absolutely.
Or pay the utilities so that you can have hot water.
Absolutely.
Or water running for your children.
Period.
Right?
Exactly.
So
this is an opportunity. What we're going to let you know, because I'm going to ask everybody to think about being a part of this fundraiser. Everybody needs to be a part of this so we can help. You have veterans in your family. Come on, let's think about that. We're going to talk more with that with Neil's coming when we come back to tell you how you can be a part to help make a difference. And with this event that we're going to be taking place on the 16th, and you'll know what you can do to help out right here on Sunshine's Corner.
As we come upon this election, it's important for everybody to get out and vote. It is critical. Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy. It lends a voice to everyone, to the people, to make sure that America is the society that we want it to be, that everybody wants it to be. If you don't get out and vote, you really don't have anything to complain about. My name is Troy Rafferty, and I want to encourage everybody to just vote.
Gilmarine, your one-stop shop for all your boating needs. We offer a vast selection of parts, accessories, and electronics. Discover our range of used boats in every size, shape, and brand, all ready to get you on the water today. And we provide expert advice and top-notch customer service to ensure you have the best boating experience. We service all outboard, inboards, stern drives, jet drives, and personal watercraft. Our certified staff will get you back on the water. Visit Gilmarine at 3541 West Fairfield Drive, Pensacola.
Florida's near-total abortion ban outlaws abortion before many women even realize they're pregnant. The ban means many survivors of rape, incest, and human trafficking will be forced to carry their attacker's child against their will. The ban forces doctors to delay critical medical care until their patient is on the brink of death or face felony charges. This ban puts the health, lives, and futures of women in our state at risk. Get the truth about Florida's near-total abortion ban.
Get your tickets now to EntreCon 2024. You'll learn how to turn your dreams of starting a business into a reality. Current business owners will learn the secrets to making your business more successful. With 31 speakers, you'll have access to a diverse range of experts, actionable strategies, and dynamic networking to help you with your path to greatness. EntreCon 2024 is November 13th and 14th at 3 locations in downtown Pensacola. Get your tickets at EntreConPensacola.com. That's EntreConPensacola.com.
And welcome back to this beautiful Hump Day edition. You know, I always tell you, when we make it to Wednesday, it's all downhill from here, and we're just going to slide our way right into this beautiful weekend. But we are really, today, we're learning some things that we were not aware of. We maybe have thought one way, but when you're not in that situation, you can't really say, and I'm learning that I got to stop that, because you never, ever, ever know anybody's story. And we was talking about that when you said we want to capitalize on the fact, but we were talking about with the stories of the people that are being affected that can get help.
Yeah, you know, it struck me when you were telling me in the last segment where you said, I don't know your story. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know, I wonder, what the app itself, VetCV, just go to vetcv.com, create an account, it's free.
Right.
You have the ability to share, to tell your story, mm-hmm. and keep your memories, right, under my documents or my pictures. Like I got my military record in there, right?
Right.
But I have my DD-214, so I'll never lose it. I have my discharge, honorable discharge. But I also have pictures of when I was on President Reagan's detail back, you know,
really?
30, 40 years ago and 50 pounds ago, right? But, you know, those are little stories that, you know, the story gets so big, the picture weighed 10 pounds alone, you know? But, you know, we share that with our friends. Cute. And now I can pull it up on my phone and say, oh, that was me 50 pounds ago, you know? But we're really enabling people to, number one, to capture your story and tell your story with what you do inside this platform.
Right.
And if I know, or we know your story, and you want to allow us to know your story, then we can help.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
And the notion of military veterans not asking for help and or males not asking for help, right? Like, oh, don't ask for directions, that whole thing, right? But when you really, really, really think about it, every single veteran, male or female, we are intensely trained on what we're supposed to do in our job. And we have our 6, right? So if you and I are together, and if you fail, I get yelled at.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I don't want you to fail, so I got to help you,
help me, right?
To make sure that I don't get yelled at.
Absolutely.
So that's all about teamwork.
Absolutely.
But all of that ties to having your 6 and being able to help somebody and tell your story.
Most certainly,
and
there's the story.
if we know the story, we can help you with stuff you didn't even know.
Exactly.
That you didn't know you needed.
That's right.
And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Most
so
certainly.
if you, maybe I should worry about this, and here's how I go solve for it. It's right there.
Absolutely. Tell everybody how they can help with the fundraiser on the 16th. If a person wants to.
Well, you can donate. You can go to vetcvfoundation.org.
Okay.
Or shorter, vetcvf.org.
Okay.
If you don't want to type the word foundation out. And see what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. The dinner information is there. We'd love for you to attend.
Right.
Now, this is a fundraiser,
of course.
That's why the tickets are $150.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Buy
right.
a table. If you're an organization that wants exposure to veterans, civilians, military, and their families, if you're hiring, become a partner and sponsor, right? So that we can get your jobs out there to tell people about the great company you have and your need to hire great people, right?
No doubt.
We also teach companies on what you need to be able to consider. Like, there's a $9,600 tax credit for hiring a disabled veteran. Tax credit.
Wow.
It's less if you're just a veteran. There are work opportunity grants from the VA. I hire people and the VA pays for half their salary for a year.
Really?
So that affects my bottom line, right?
Exactly.
So IBM left $1 million on the table last year. as an example, because they didn't take advantage of this. You should take advantage of this.
Most certainly.
We will help you as a company, even if you're a small, startup with 3 or 4, 2 people, 1 person, you're moving out of your garage, you're going to hire your first person. Let us help you hire that person, but also let us help you get some money,
exactly.
from the government
Exactly.
to help pay for you doing a good thing for hiring a veteran and or their family.
Oh, wow. So you see now there's so many ways that you can be a part to help with this fundraiser, where it's all going to help with those veterans who really need the help, that you think sometimes that, like I did, past tense, I learned a different thing. But you can go to vetcvf.com.
No, .org.
.org.
Yeah.
And find out a lot of information how you can be a part to donate, purchase your tickets for the event.
Purchase your tickets, be a sponsor, or just donate if you can't attend.
Exactly.
Be part of,
making a difference.
be you
There you go.
at the dollar store.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
if
right.
it's $10 or $5, it's all going straight to a good cause.
No doubt about it. It's going to be a great event, and I know it.
Well, and the speakers, it's going to be great in large part because you're going to be the MC, right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're going to be asking people for their credit cards
and
all kinds of
and
things.
And I can do that easily.
We have a silent auction. Yeah, exactly. We have Michelle Saltzman. There are 2 keynote speakers. Michelle Saltzman, a veteran herself.
Right.
And Rose she has a story.
Yes, she does.
And now a state representative.
Absolutely. And everybody, we're down to the raw. Can you believe that? Yeah. But look, please make sure you go to the website.
And Ron Chambers.
Yes, I heard about him. I know him well. Listen, this is coming up on the 16th. If you've got time to go there now, that is vetcvf.org. And you can find out how you can be a part, purchase your ticket so that we can make a difference right here at home. And of course, I've got to leave you, but I want to leave you as I do every single day, my dear friends. Never, ever, ever lose your focus. Always remember one thing. If you keep God first in everything that you do, I guarantee you're going to be a total success. So until tomorrow morning for another day of information and sunshine, know that I love you with a perfect kind of love. Keep shining while I'm gone. And go to the website. That is vetcvf.org. Make your donation today. See you later.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.